to this Ian Rapoport story. What do you make 2026 is a prove-it year for Hurts? That's another national guy who's got inside information on the Eagles that is basically saying 2026 is a prove-it year. How can a guy with all that success have a prove-it year? Seals, you think Mike Tomlin would be a good fit in Philly if Nick gets fired? Yes, but that's not what the Eagles, that's not what Jeffrey Lurie does. Okay? They like hiring people with no history of being a head coach. You're missing the point. Why does Philly need to restructure when they plan ahead better than anyone else? They aren't restructuring Hurts this year because they want him to prove himself. Okay. That's my point. No, that is my point. They're not giving him a contract because this is a prove-it year. Dude, Josh Allen doesn't have a prove-it year. Or they're going to move on from him. Or Burrow. They're not moving on from them guys. Again, this is why the Ravens want a Lamar extension. He is in their long-term plans and needs cap space to put weapons around him. DFW, thank you for being here every day. I mean that. Big question is, would you draft him knowing what he is right now? No. Well, who am I? Sasha, it's a great question. If I were to draft Jalen Hurts right now, Sasha, what team am I? The Eagles? Maybe. The Jets? Never. The Cardinals? Never. And those are the teams that are at the top of the draft every year. He's limited in passing the ball. He would be Tyrod Taylor in New York. In Houston, he's Jalen Hurts. Okay? Got a great defense, run the ball, playmaking kind of decision maker, all that. Like, as a startup team, I had, like the Browns, no way. Now, wait a minute. Could Hurts turn the Browns around? Got the fourth best defense in football. Get him a running back? Maybe Hurts in Cleveland would turn that thing around. I'm being honest here. Because they have the fourth best defense in football, you get him a running back, you got the defense, put a couple pieces around him, the Browns might be a winning football team with him there. I think he could do something in Cleveland. Yeah, James. James, I'll tell you what. He'll do more in Cleveland than what Shador would do. Denver, Denver too. Absolutely. Cardinals, Jets, Giants. Who else sucks? The Dolphins. Hurts would be obliterated there. But Cleveland with the D, Denver, Houston, I think he'd win there. Minnesota, I think he'd win there. Yeah. But again, if I'm starting from scratch, I have no interest in that guy. Not even Brady could do anything with the Jets. They'd be competent, but not win. Does that make sense, Cover? They'd be competent, but they wouldn't win. Let's see here. He could have run Shanahan's offense in San Francisco. I don't think Shanahan could coach Jalen Hurts. I don't think he could coach him. He couldn't do anything with Trey Lance. I don't believe it. I don't think hey, this guy disagrees. Well, let me show you something. Does Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, should he take? Okay, wait a minute. Does Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, do they all look like the same quarterback? Do they look like the same guy in the same skill set? That's right. He didn't coach Kaepernick. Harbaugh did. Okay? I mean, JoJo, doesn't Garoppolo, Purdy, Mac Jones, Sam Darnold, they all look the same, right? They're all kind of the same guy, same style of play. He's got great success with that. Hurts is nothing like those guys. What would make you think Shanahan would want to coach that completely different than off of what those guys' skill set was? That doesn't make sense. Nobody said that Jalen Hurts is really this bad. If Jalen Hurts is really this bad, then has Patrick Mahomes even beaten a good quarterback in the Super Bowl? What does one game have to do with a guy's skill? What are you talking about? You think 60 minutes of football determines whether or not a guy's good or not? David, because you win a Super Bowl doesn't mean you're a week-to-week quarterback who can carry your football team and is an elite player. Elite guys like Dan Marino had a bad Super Bowl. Does that mean Dan Marino's a bad quarterback because he played shitty in that one game? Absolutely not. Or that John Elway was 0-3 in Super Bowls? What are you talking about? Niners GM has to be one of the worst in the league. I disagree. The most important 60 minutes in the entire league, literally the entire point of the league, is to win a Super Bowl. You're missing 60 minutes of football. So you're telling me winning the Super Bowl MVP on playing 60 minutes of football versus playing 6 months of football every week, every single month, you think that's harder than to play 6 months of football year to year? When 30 different guys have won the Super Bowl MVP who are nobodies. Ridiculous take. So you think Mahomes going the same after the knee injury? Yeah. You know why? Mahomes' magic is in his arm. Was Favre a traditional West Coast offensive player? Favre's problems were this. Okay? Favre's problems were when he retired the all-time touchdown passer. But he also retired the guy who threw the most interceptions. Purdy's S2 score, his score in the mid-90s, represents an elite cognitive profile. It places him in the 90 percentile compared to players like Mahomes, Allen, and Breeze. That Wonderlic test is important. You're right. When it comes to, absolutely, when it comes to being able to process. Get this. Then why in God's name is he on the hot seat in 23? Per Ian Rapoport and others. How can a guy be elite when he's on the hot seat? Make that make sense. NBA Finals MVP means more than a regular season MVP. Yeah, you play 7 games. Hurts' Wonderlic score would keep him from landing a forklift job. Games with no competition in a half and still winning is crazy. Someone enlighten me. How does a team get to a Super Bowl by playing bad and beating a shitty quarterback and losing games? Your quarterback had very little to do with the team in 24. It was a Saquon Barkley year. Stop making it sound like that was Hurts' year. He threw for 2,900 yards and 18 touchdowns. Don't make it sound like he had some iconic fucking year that year. He had like one of the worst years regular season-wise of any quarterback on a winning Super Bowl team in history. Was Elway a traditional West Coast offensive player? Yeah. Yeah. Could move, was accurate. His problems were in his touch game. Oh, a little bit of news here. Thank you. I will be, once again, I haven't in 2 years, but I'll be voting for the Heisman this year. Heisman CEO Jeff Price today announced the new leadership board of Tim Henning and Charlie Woodzow. And we are inviting you to become a voter for the 2026 college football season. We look forward to your participation each and every single week. Heisman announces his new leadership team, and we invite you to be a voter this year. Thank God. I like that vote. Yeah. This dude's a clown. He trolls. He knows getting. Hey, so you know, Mello, and if you watch the show, this dude is one of those guys who doesn't like truth. So he'll listen to all those wormy shows in Philly that kiss ass. We don't do that here. We speak what's on our mind, and I don't give a shit about a Calvin in like Passaic, New Jersey,